This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform to build your perfect website. Hello and welcome back to the channel. So we're out on the southwest coast today to hopefully capture some landscape photos, but I've got something I really need to get off my chest, something that's kind of been niggling me, and it's about camera gear, image quality and the photography traps that are set for us that we really need to try and avoid. So we'll be talking about that over the next 15 minutes or so whilst we're looking for some photo opportunities. So let's get into it at this amazing spot here on the west coast. So I've been really fortunate over the last 17 years or so to work alongside some very talented professional photographers, many of whom I've looked up to and still do, to be honest. And it's, really interesting to see their approach, their take on photography gear and equipment. And I have to say, it's very, very different to how professional YouTube photographers approach equipment. And that's something I really want to talk about later on in the video. Now, the main reason I'm bringing this up though, is because I do get quite a lot of emails asking whether someone should or shouldn't upgrade their equipment. So we'll be talking about that later on as well and answering that question. So I'm about a mile into our walk today and I've got about another mile to go before we reach this secluded cove, one that I've not been to before, so I'm really excited about that, to see what's down there and just get a load of this. Absolutely stunning. Beautiful calm conditions today, but the wind chill is particularly cold, hence the reason I've chosen this specific location. So we're down here on the southwest coast today and we've got a northwesterly wind blowing, so hopefully we should get some shelter from that biting wind. Anyway, let's get on a bit further up the trail and see what presents itself. So I touched on this a little bit in my Q&A video that I did a couple of weeks ago, and one of the questions was, I've been using Fujifilm for a while now, do you think it's worth upgrading to a full frame camera for landscape photography, or is APS-C enough? And I think my response was something like, by moving to a bigger sensor, you're not necessarily upgrading your camera as a whole. Yes, the image quality may be marginally better, but if weight, size and cost are considerations, you would be downgrading in those areas. So I think the term upgrading is very specific to what you're actually looking to improve with your image making. And upgrading in one area could be a downgrade in another. Camera brands are crafty, aren't they? They know how human brains work. They know that bigger numbers attract more attention. Say flagship cameras will have more of everything, won't they? More megapixels, they'll have bigger sensors, more stops of dynamic range, more stops of image stabilization. But all of this is superficial nonsense, really, if you don't actually need it. There's tons of stuff that my camera can do that I've never actually used. So we've reached that point in the trip where we can now see our destination, and I have to say it looks absolutely amazing. But we haven't taken any photos yet because, if I spin you around, I'll show you why. Because of that, it's particularly bright right now, making it almost impossible to get a nice shot. But we'll be heading down there, which looks spectacular. Some amazing rock formations at the end there. So hopefully we can make an image or two this evening. But before we do that, I'd just like to kindly thank the sponsor of this week's video, which is Squarespace. Now, I've been using Squarespace for many years to create my website, and I found the whole process incredibly easy. They offer a wide selection of award-winning templates that can get you up and running really quickly, and they even have AI design technology to help you create a more unique and personalised website. It really is so easy. One of the things I love most is how simple it is to sell digital products like my ebook on landscape photography composition. Plus, the pages get automatically optimized for search engines, so you can ensure your products, blog posts or galleries get as much visibility as possible. So be sure to check out squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/IanWorth to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Right, let's get down to this beach. Now, this place is one of the reasons I love Pembrokeshire so much. It is jaw-droppingly amazing. Absolutely stunning. I'm pretty much speechless, if that's possible. Wow. Absolutely amazing. Now, by this stage in the video, I would have hoped to have bagged a photo or two, but as you can probably tell by the light on my face, it's incredibly harsh right now. So I've just kind of got me thinking, you know, I've been a professional photographer for 17 years, and during that time frame, I've never needed a 100 megapixel camera. I might have thought I might have needed, say, a better set of lights or modifiers, or maybe I might have needed to hire a second photographer to make sure I didn't miss a specific moment. But you know, in all of those years, I've never had a client come back to me and say, Ian, the resolution of these photos looks a bit crap. It's just never happened. You know, and when I first started, I was shooting with a 12 megapixel camera as well, which in all honesty would still make really nice photos, even by today's standards. Now, I'm mentioning this because I'm actually looking for a new camera at the moment for a very specific task. I'm looking for something small, something pocketable, something that I can use for everyday carry, you know, just something I can pick up and use and not worry too much about it. Something that I can take everywhere with me. I can feel myself, you know, getting sucked into the big numbers and those jazzy specs. And to be honest, it's exciting, you know, it's fun looking at reviews, watching videos and trying to decide what would or wouldn't work for a specific task at hand. Now, I've got a short list of about a dozen, I think, or so potential candidates. The funny thing is though, most of those cameras on that short list are way above the initial budget that I set myself initially. And I think that's a big difference. My mindset now is different. I'm now looking, you know, to treat myself as opposed to making an informed business decision. So maybe I need to position myself somewhere between consumer and working photographer for this purchase, and maybe I'll save myself a few quid. Yeah, I really need to resist getting sucked into the image quality trap. So the moment I have set foot on the beach, the moment the sun has gone behind a cloud, which may or may not work in our favour. I've been saying all afternoon it's been too harsh, so hopefully that'll work out. Now, there's been a lot of aircraft flying over today, and they've created this bank of cloud, which is now sitting out to the west coast. So I'm just a little bit concerned at this moment in time that, yeah, the sun might get snuffled out towards sunset. But yeah, there's some amazing rock formations here, and lots to explore. So I need to get my photography head on, try and make a composition. And then I've got a few more points I want to talk about as well in terms of photography traps and not falling for it. So yeah, we're touching on that in a minute or two. I really like the rock formations just here. Let's explore this. So yes, I really like these little rock formations we've got here. They look really nice. So they're a very deep red colour, and this shingly sand is kind of flows almost in between these rocks. So I think that might be something I might come back to, but I want to explore a little bit by the shoreline first, make use of the light. I can probably shoot this a little bit later if we don't get a good sunset. But let me just show you what I mean, and then we'll come back to this. So yeah, I really like how this sand sits in these little cracks and these flowy rock formations. Probably not showing up too well on the wide angle view of the action cam, but yeah, I think these look quite nice. Definitely make a shot there. So actually there's some nice rays of light coming down now between the clouds there. So I'm wondering if I can set up somewhere down here, maybe get some flowing water running through some rock pools or something like that, and maybe try and take a shot looking back towards the light. Yeah, these rocks are absolutely amazing, a real deep red colour, absolutely brilliant. So everything is framed up at last. I managed to find a composition which I think I'm happy with. Had I had a bit longer, I think I probably could have come up with something a little bit better. Now, framing it up has been quite difficult. I really wanted to focus in on these rocks I've got down here in the foreground. So I'm taking two shots, one focused down here in the foreground and another in the rock in the midground. I'm just going to blend those two images together in post-production. Also, I'm taking a slightly lighter exposure of my foreground as well, because those rocks down here in the foreground are particularly dark when we're looking straight at the light. And we're getting some lovely rays of light coming down through the clouds at the minute, so I think that's quite nice. And as the tide washes through the scene, it's changing my foreground as well. So I'm just going to shoot this, I think, over the next sort of 10 or 15 minutes or so as that light dips down, and then we're going to head back up there and see if we can work on some of those patterns. Maybe we'll get some lovely warm tones that will help accentuate the sand and the red stone as well. So yeah, I think what I'm aiming for here is a continuation of water running through the scene towards the light. I don't think I made the best of that shot. I just don't think I was in the right position. I played around with and without the filter, and I think I missed the best of the light. By the time the light settled down there behind that cloud, it's looking very murky, and then when the tide washed through the composition, a lot of the detail in those rocks have been kind of covered by the water. So yeah, I don't think it worked particularly well. Anyway, my bag's back there, so I don't know why I'm walking up here. Right, I need to go and get my bag. Let me put my tripod down. That's hilarious. There we go. We've got the bag. So I'm a bit of a sucker really for getting sucked into shooting towards the light these days. I really need to get away from that mindset and, you know, maybe just concentrate on other things as well when the light's really good. Maybe just face away from the light. Sometimes you can get much better images. Yeah, I'm really feeling fairly negative about that last shot. Right, let's see if we can make something work in these amazing rock formations up here. You never know, all this cloud might light up and we might get an amazing afterglow. Right, so I think what I'd like to do is make a triptych of images, a set of 3 that could work well together, maybe square frames. I think that might look quite nice. Love the patterns in these rocks. So I'm going to shoot handheld for now, maybe try and pick out a few details, and then maybe if I need to, I'll set the tripod up and shoot each one individually. Some lovely textures here. Right, let's see what we can find. So I found my first little composition here. Looks really nice. Got these sort of diagonal lines running through the image where the sea is weathered and worn the rocks away. It looks really nice, and this sort of pea shingle, if you like, situated on the top. And where the water's sat in this little gully here, it's making some of the rock a lot darker, so there's some extra textures and patterns as well. So that's what I'm focusing on. I'm going to get this one framed up, and yeah, I'll show you exactly what I'm shooting. So I'm just trying to get this little sort of diagonal running through the image. The only little part I'm not 100% sure on is this dark patch down here. So yeah, I'm going to be working on this a little bit more to see if I can maybe eliminate that. But I quite like the sweeping lines running through this image and the shingle in the middle. So let's take a seat. So I think I was quite happy with those pattern shots, maybe not so much with the one we took earlier, but let's go back to camera gear. Now, what I found was, you know, working alongside a lot of other photographers, most would only kind of upgrade their kit when a new camera feature would either earn them more money, make their job easier, or if their camera was broken. So for example, when they introduced high quality video to mirrorless cameras, many photographers immediately saw potential for earning extra money and they switched out their gear. I think for most it all comes down to profit. You know, why spend a ton of money if they were not going to earn any more in the process? So as mentioned, you know, I'm looking for a new pocketable camera, and I've watched loads of YouTube videos recently, and it's been great. I've, you know, definitely learned a lot about compact cameras, and it kind of got me thinking, you know, about the difference between, say, a professional photographer that is service-based, like say events or portraits, in comparison to professional photographers working on YouTube, which is essentially what I'm doing now. And the two are very, very different, I think. Like I mentioned, service-based photographers usually only upgrade their kit when they absolutely need to, no other reason whatsoever. It's got to turn a profit some way or another. But I think for professional photographers working on YouTube, it's completely different. Buying more cameras can potentially earn you more money. It's a bit of a strange one. So say I go out and buy the latest Nikon flagship camera, I could create a series of videos based around that camera. I could share my experience with it, maybe do a review or two, and this will help me to reach new people that are interested in that camera, and potentially I could earn some money in the process. For me personally, I'd have to do a heck of a lot of videos to see a return on my investment, but for massive channels, they could easily turn a profit with just one video. Now, I'm not knocking this in any way, it's just something that I wanted to chat about. So it's something that's kind of been on my mind for a while now, and no doubt I'll be making some videos soon with my new pocketable camera that I'm looking to pick up. And I guess I'd hate to think that I've given someone else, a dreaded dose of the gear acquisition syndrome in the process. So stay strong and resist the urge and just keep taking photos, because ultimately that's what really matters, isn't it? Anyway, thanks again for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to take a look at the one that's at the top here. And if you would like to support the channel, why not check out my ebook on landscape photography composition, which is linked up here. Anyway, I do hope you all have a great week. I hope to see you again next week.